formal resignation from the party by ADELEKE, the National Secretariat, insisted on proceeding. The flag bearer polled a total of 919 out of 957 accredited voters. The exercise was supervised by the National Organizing Committee, chaired by Humphrey Alba, with the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, represented by OSUN Resident Electoral Commissioner Mutiu Adigboke, serving as observers. The result brings to an end the uncertainty surrounding the primary, setting the stage for the main contest in 2026. Still staying in Osun State, there are clear pointers that the governor of Osun State, Adedeleke, will soon be pitching his tent with another political party ahead of the governorship election in the state next year. This follows the governor's resignation from the People's Democratic Party early in the week. According to the state's Commissioner of Information and Public Enlightenment, Kola Alimi, Adeleke will announce which party he joins before December the 13th, 2025. Governor Adeleke officially resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party, citing the ongoing crisis within the party's national leadership. Adeleke had announced his departure from PDP since November 4, 2025, addressed to the PDP chairman of Sagba, Abugunde Ward 2 in Ede, Osun State. The governor shared the letter, which was acknowledged and received by the ward chairman Saka Kamoluddin Alamo on his social media accounts on Monday night. In the letter, Governor Adeleke stated that the turbulence at the national level of the party had compelled him to end his association with the PDP with immediate effect. Away from politics and to security, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed BADARU Abubakar, has resigned from his position with immediate effect. In a letter sent to President Bola Tinubu, BADARU said he was quitting on health grounds. A statement issued by President's spokesman, Bayo Ononuga, on Monday said Tinubu has accepted the resignation and thanked the minister for his services to the nation. BADARU Abubakar, 62, was a two-term governor of Jigawa State between 2015 and 2023. He was appointed minister on August 21, 2023 by the president. His resignation comes amid President Tinubu's declaration of a national security emergency with plans to elaborate on its scope in due course. Meanwhile, former Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher MUSA has met with President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. MUSA met the president in a closed-door meeting with the president, his first since retiring on October 24, 2025. The agenda was not disclosed, but the meeting is believed to be connected to the rising insecurity in the north, including recent kidnappings in Kebbi, Kwara, and Niger State. Meanwhile, former Chief of Defense Staff, retired General Lucky IRABOR, has raised serious concerns about the worsening security situation in the country. He considers that the situation is as it is now because some Nigerian politicians may be exploiting or even fueling insecurity for political gain. IRABOR described Nigeria's security crisis as multifaceted, cautioning that the nation's violent incidents cannot be traced to a single source or motive. His comments come less than 24 hours after presidential aide Daniel Wala hinted that the federal government is preparing to publicly name individuals involved in financing terrorism. IRABOR noted that multiple layers of criminality are currently driving violence across the country. According to him, Nigeria is dealing with a mix of ideological extremists, politically motivated actors, economic criminals, and groups that displace communities for control of land and resources. In other news, women leaders are renewing calls for greater female representation in governance, highlighting the need for stronger voices, fairer inclusion, and a leadership culture that reflects the contributions and capabilities of women across the country. We bring you more on this report.
It was an inspiring evening in Lagos as Women in Leadership hosted a watch party featuring the documentary of former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinta Ardern, a film celebrating women who lead with strength, purpose and compassion. Speaking at the event, Aisha Agbaje, Executive Secretary of the Lateef Jakonde Leadership Academy, said women have the capacity to achieve far more than they do at the moment, stressing the need for greater female participation in leadership, which she's certain would reduce corruption and improve accountability.
Having a baby does not stop your senses or make you dumb or deaf or make you blind. As a matter of fact, it makes you even more humane.
Founder of the Women in Leadership Advancement Network, Abosede George, urged women not to relent in the demand for leadership, noting that the National Assembly will soon vote on the reserved seat bills, Nigeria's first potential affirmative action law. Some of the women leaders at the event encouraged women across the country to step forward, take leadership roles and demonstrate their leadership capability.
It's time to sit up. It's time to be more vocal. It's time to be more courageous and bold. Everybody that did it, especially with the case study that we just watched, they did it afraid.
Incredibly inspiring. And when I say inspiring one to continue to lead more and achieve more impact. Her leadership tenure was decisive. Her leadership tenure was full of self-confidence and self-belief. Her leadership was about the people, and her leadership was authentic.
While the event winds down, these women insist that they will continue with their call for more women representation and different leadership roles. Praise Adeleke, African News 24 TV.
As Nigeria prepares for CSW 70, attendees urged that the justice system must reflect women's realities and ensure their voices shape every level of decision-making. This is part of the takeaway from the National Consultative Forum by NAF Foundation. We have more in our next report.
This gathering brings together women and women advocates from across the country to converse and reimagine a justice system that truly includes women and girls across legislation, policing, and the courts. The forum, at the instance of NAF Foundation, focuses on strengthening women's access to justice at every stage. Some experts sees the forum to warn that a system becomes illegitimate when it is distant, unsafe, or unaffordable, especially for survivors of gender-based violence.
What we are doing here in Abuja, Nigeria today is basically gathering insights, feedback, and demand from women, young women, and the older generation in the justice sector and outside the justice sector, curating those demands as a country and saying this is what we believe access to justice would mean for our generation and for our nation in the next sustainable future.
For women, access to justice means safety at home, safety in the workplace, and if there is a challenge, they know there is a path that they can go to where they will seek recourse, that it will be swift, it will be fair, and it will also be responsive.
As part of the event, discussions focus on some of the challenges women face, from first contacts with the police to courtrooms and correctional centers. Participants make case for justice systems with women in leadership, which they are certain is often more practical, compassionate, and reflective of real experiences.
It's easy for us to imagine that in some of our urban locations, in our cities, the police, for instance, understand gender-responsive ways to address issues of sexual and gender-based violence. But then we need to look at what the data says about places in rural communities, some places where they have not particularly engaged with the act.
The challenges for access to justice, number one, is access to even representation. So where do I go to lay my concerns? Number two is the delay in the regimented system, because you could be in court dealing with an issue of custody, inheritance for a number of years, which shouldn't be the case.
Political justice for women will be more representation, passing that bill, making sure that women are not just present on the streets, but present within the lawmaking systems of our society.
While some urban areas show progress in gender-responsive policing, rural communities still struggle with poor awareness of sexual and gender-based violence laws. Key obstacles identified include lack of legal representation and lengthy court delays, leaving many women stuck in cases such as inheritance and custody disputes.
Into some environmental friendly stories. Experts in the energy and agriculture sectors are advocating the use of briquettes technology as a sustainable alternative for power generation, especially as Nigeria continues to seek affordable and cleaner energy options. We have more in this report.
This forum brings together energy innovators, agri-entrepreneurs and environmental advocates who highlighted how agricultural and domestic waste can be converted into briquettes, an efficient biomass energy source capable of reducing reliance on traditional fossil fuels. The expert underscored how briquette technology does not only lower carbon emissions, but also offer rural communities a cheaper and more reliable power source.
Leave that one coming into agriculture, like I said earlier. If our government can put our efforts together, collaborate with the Ministry of Environment, biotechnology, we can turn all those waste to wealth. This day we are talking about unemployment in Nigeria, and then because an idle man or an idle hand is a devil's workshop. Now, when our youth are fully engaged with employment, it will reduce crime rates in our society. Imagine within the next 5 years, from agricultural point of view, we can be saving $9 to $10 billion every year. Now, translate that into Naira. Translate that into what the impact is going to have in our economy.
Additionally, the technology is projected to power employment. The stakeholders believe wider adoption of briquette production will support Nigeria's energy transition while tackling waste management challenges across the country.
And to some business stories. The Naira has opened the week with a slight depreciation, trading at 1,488 Naira 43 kobo against the United States dollar at the official foreign exchange market on Monday. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed the Naira lost 1 Naira 69 kobo, representing a 0.1% decline from Friday, November 28, when it traded at 1,446 Naira 74 kobo. Analysts attributed the minor loss to normal market adjustments, noting that the Naira's performance remains relatively stable compared with previous months of volatility. The relative stability of the local currency has drawn commendation from investors who say reforms in the foreign exchange market have improved confidence and predictability. On the foreign scene, a high-level delegation from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, led by Sierra Leone's President Julius Maada Bio, visited Guinea-Bissau on Monday to urge the military junta to restore constitutional order. The talks come after the November 26, 2025 military coup, which ousted President Omar Sissoko Embalo and suspended the electoral process. The ECOWAS delegation, including the UN Special Representative for West Africa and the Sahel, met with Guinea-Bissau's military leadership, headed by Major General Hota Nta, and the country's electoral commission. The discussions aim to pressure the junta to commit to a swift return to democratic governance. ECOWAS has suspended Guinea-Bissau from all decision-making bodies until constitutional order is restored, condemning the coup as an unacceptable violation of democratic principles. The regional bloc, along with the United Nations, demand the immediate release of detained officials, including President Embalo, and the announcement of the November 23 election results. The talks were described as constructive and fruitful, with both sides expressing their concerns. However, the outcome remains uncertain as the junta has appointed a one-year transition government. Meanwhile, Nigeria has offered Guinea-Bissau's opposition presidential candidate Fernando Diaz protection at its embassy in the capital Bissau following a military coup. This is contained in a statement by the Nigerian Foreign Ministry, which stated that President Bola Tinubu had approved a request for protection of Diaz in response to imminent threats to his life. It also asked the Economic Community of West African States Stabilization Force to deploy its troops in the country to keep Diaz safe. Welcome to sports. The United States, which is hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup with Canada and Mexico, is already buzzing ahead of the global event. On Monday, the White House officially confirmed that President Donald Trump will attend the draw ceremony scheduled to hold at the Kennedy Center. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that the president considers the World Cup a major highlight of his second term in office, as well as part of the country's 250th independence anniversary celebrations coming up next year. However, the build-up to the tournament has not been free from political tension. President Trump's strong position on several domestic issues continues to spark debate across the country. The president has repeatedly hinted at the possibility of relocating World Cup matches away from some U.S. host cities. He argues that certain democratic-run areas are dealing with rising crime and what he describes as illegal migration, conditions he believes could affect the hosting capacity of those cities. Despite the controversies, preparation for the 2026 World Cup remain on the way, with Friday's draw expected to set the tone for what is already projected to be one of the largest sporting events in history. Organizers say all eyes will be on Washington as football nations await the official matchups and as President Trump takes center stage at a ceremony blending sports, politics, and global attention. Welcome to entertainment. Davido has lit up the GRAMMYS Museum in Los Angeles with a thrilling live performance that left audiences asking for more. The Nigerian music superstar delivered a powerful set packed with some of his biggest hit songs, electrifying fans and music lovers in attendance. A standout moment of the night came when Davido performed his Grammy-nominated track, With You, featuring Omale, drawing loud applause and excitement from the crowd. The showcase further underscored Davido's growing global influence and spotlighted the unstoppable rise of Afrobeats on the international music scene as guests celebrated an unforgettable night at the iconic music venue. And in other news, Afrobeat star Innocent Idibia, popularly known as Tubaba, and his wife Natasha Oshawaru were caught in a heated exchange during an Instagram live session hosted by media personality Daddy Freeze. The session featured two of the singer's former associates who alleged that Natasha exerted excessive control over his affairs and referenced past disputes, including a reported incident in the UK. Tubaba later joined the live stream, ordering them to stop discussing his private life. Minutes later, raised voices believed to be those of the couple were heard off camera before the broadcast ended abruptly, further fueling public scrutiny of their relationship. That is the much we can take out this hour. Please join us at 6 p.m. for updates on some of these stories as well as breaking news. Remember to connect with us on all our social media platforms shown on your screen and visit our website at africannews24.ng for all the latest updates. I'm Mary Adin. Goodbye for now.